Narinder Singh Parhar, and today's date is December 26th, 2015. I was 31 years old. I had come to United States as a medical graduate. So in '84 I was not a physician yet in America, but I was preparing for my postgraduate exams. I was in Fairfield, California. Actually, one of our close family members called me because I was away in the academy to prepare for those postgraduate exams. He was so shocked to hear the news from the TV that he wanted to talk to me right away, so he called me in the academy. He mentioned that there's a very sad news that Darbar Sahib has been attacked by Indian Army. And there was a limited story coming along. The only information that was coming out was that the Indian Army has put a complete news blackout in Punjab. There was a military takeover all over Punjab, and Darbar Sahib and 38 other gurdwaras have been attacked during the same night. Why? I think it was a decision of the central government, partially instigated by the opposition of the politics at that time in India, that the central government, or particularly Indira Gandhi, was not doing enough to bring Sant Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale to justice. So Indira Gandhi, she was under pressure from the opposition to capture or kill Sant Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale. She thought, or Indian government thought, that there were other militants, or so-called, what according to their languages, terrorists hiding in the Darbar Sahib complex. But that's only their version of the story. The real version of the story is that, as I understand from the information I read, heard during that time and later, was that this was a calculated attempt by Indian government through Indian Army to punish the Sikhs and to what they called teach Sikhs a lesson, so that they could be subjugated, they could to break their backs, so they could never rise up again against injustice of Indian state. Well, it was like every other Sikh living at that time, was a shocking news, and it was very saddening and frustrating news. It was unhappy news. It was difficult to explain what people went through it or what I went through it. It was definitely a shock.
Right.
It was an unbelievable news. It was basically similar reaction of everybody, every Sikh, that wow, why did Indian Army, Indian government attack Darbar Sahib Golden Temple or Sri Harmandir Sahib? This is inexcusable. And the damage that happened during and after the immediate attack was so incalculable that every Sikh was so much in shock and so much angry at the Indian state. The news was that there was a complete lawlessness in New Delhi and many other cities, and there were instigation and arming of the mobs and goons by the ruling Indian party at that time. Sikhs, their houses were marked by the first team, first batch of the people who were part of this game. They marked the Sikh houses by in Mohalla and in the neighborhoods, so that the follow-up teams could easily go into the Sikh houses, bring their male members out and torture them and kill them or put them on fire, and disrespect or dishonor the Sikh women. It happened in multiple cities, and that was again shocking and unbelievable. What other issue, other fact was that the Indian police and the government stayed idly by while these goons were doing this harm, doing this violence or carnage. They were rather assisting the goons to do what they wanted to do. So the police was on the side of the perpetrators, It was unbelievable that the Indian state or state of any country could do this against its own citizens. And those citizens, that community which has fought for that country for several centuries, it has defended that country, it has participated rather very foremost in the Indian freedom struggle, and also it has fed the country, whole country, just being less than 2% of the Indian population. The Sikh community is responsible for feeding the Indian population through Green Revolution. So it was unbelievable that the Sikh community could be treated like that by the Indian state, the Indian country, which they have defended and they have fed for so many years and centuries. As I said earlier, these were organized by the ruling Indian National Congress Party, which was the party in power at that time. Rajiv Gandhi openly supported this, and Haryana government, which was the chief minister was Bhajan Lal at that time, they had brought up criminals and goons to do this carnage, and supported and encouraged by the police. Keep on telling people, both the Sikh community members who were ignorant or who haven't had the details, or other non-Sikh community members back in India or here. Yeah, we keep on doing that. I think it did in most Sikhs' lives that it brought them closer to their faith. For reason I may not be able to understand together, I became vegetarian at that time. So I have been vegetarian for 31 years. Since then, I gave up. I'm not a drinker, I was never a drinker, but I used to take alcohol from just socially, but I gave up drinking at that time. And 3 years later, I became an Amritdhari Sikh. I think it's a failure of the police system, failure of the Indian justice system, failure of the Indian legislature system, failure of any other system on which any democracy is based on. Right. Including the executive branch, of course. I think the message that any Sikh should share with any other Sikh child or adult is that come back to the basics of Sikh faith, that be nirpav and be nirvair, that grasp the Mool Mantra very dearly to your heart, that Guru Nanak Dev Ji has given us as a definition of Vaheguru. So grasp that definition very closely to your heart, very tightly, and work on it, act on it. There shouldn't be any feeling of revenge against any community or any person, but the pursuit for justice we all should continue.